Welcome to the Branding Rafi Podcast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Branding Rafi Podcast. Episode 3, I'm your host, Hector Sanchez, and today I have my guest, Edgar. How you feeling, bro?
Good, man. Thank you guys for having me, man. It's a pleasure.
Mr. AZthreads himself. So, I know you, but for the audience, who are you? What do you do?
My name is Edgar Sarmiento. I'm the owner of AZthreads, and I just buy sneakers and buy clothing.
Yeah, Mr. AZthreads. I like that name. It's funny because I followed your business page for a long time, and then I finally saw your personal page, and it was nothing but like running, and I'm like, when'd you get into running?
Man, I've been running since middle school. I used to be in the cross country team.
Really?
And we actually won state. So before I started playing basketball, my basketball coach was a cross country coach, and he would make us join cross country before, basketball season. That way we would be in shape and we just worry about skill stuff instead of conditioning. And I always ran. And then, fast forward college and all that stuff, I stopped playing, opened up AZthreads. I've been doing that for the last 10 years. And my homie Brian last year was like, "Hey man, come run with us. We're gonna start a run club." And I just been running for the last 2 years.
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up because I do remember like back in like elementary, your coach would make you if you just wanted to play basketball, they would make you do something else. But it's crazy. I didn't know that you did cross country. Did you run in high school too?
No, in high school, that's when I started focusing more on basketball. So it was like basketball year round.
Yeah.
Whether it was club ball, whether it was conditioning. Even my senior year, you know how like seniors get to leave early? My senior year, I took 4 wellness classes.
Damn, so maybe I was stupid because I didn't get to leave early, but I'm just I'm just joking. And you went to Sierra Linda, right?
Yeah, Sierra Linda.
Okay. I went to Central. I remember when we would hoop together in the jamboree.
Yeah.
But I think it was you, Bobo, Arnie. You guys were cold.
Yeah, I mean, that's all we could do at the time is just play basketball. You know what I mean? Most of us are from Mexico. We're undocumented. We couldn't work. We wanted to work, but due to our status, all we can do is run and, shoot and, practice and stuff like that.
Did you play baseball or anything?
No.
Okay. You're a baseball fan though, right?
I watch it. I can watch it. Yeah, I can watch it.
You're always wearing D-backs here.
It's because Arizona, man.
You're repping the city?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always got a rep, man.
No, I'm a baseball guy too, but once I got to high school, I'm like, I can't keep up with these guys. Yeah. I was like, I'd rather play basketball. I was a big basketball guy, but I was like, I can't keep up with these guys. So I mean, as far as the store, what got you wanting to open that up and get that going? Like, I know that as a kid, I'm assuming you were into hoop shoes as you were hooping, right? But what got you into wanting to open up a store?
Well, AZthreads originally started out of my mom's house. I used to do yard sales back in 2013, 2014, 2015. And, before I had a job, I used to, sell stuff here and there. And then when I started working after, when I stopped playing basketball, I was, working 2 jobs and doing AZthreads on the side. You know what I mean? So it's always been around, you know what I mean? And it got to a point where I was working 2 jobs, and it was like, man, if I, at this rate, man, by the time I'm 25, I'm about to be burnt out, so I had to do something else. And that's kind of where I quit both of my jobs and, got to working, and 6 months later, we pretty much opened our first store.
Mm-hmm. You're a big grinder, man. I always see you working, hustling. Where does that come from? Like your parents or how'd you pick up that trait?
Well, both of my parents are hardworking. You know what I mean? And they try to do everything, in a straight line. And obviously, we grow up and, we have our own experiences and, we make mistakes and all that stuff. But at the end of the tunnel, our purpose is to get better each and every day. Yeah. And that's just kind of how I wake up, to this day. People look at me like, because I've been around for 10 years or I have everything, established or figured out. But people don't know, like, you got to wake up every day and, it's a new grind. It's a, a new hustle every day.
Yeah, no, 100%. What does your mom tell you now? Is she happy?
Yeah, no, my parents, they're you know, I can say they're proud of me, and you know, that's kind of as you know, as a child, as a son, that's kind of what you want to do to your parents. You know, make them not really have to worry about.
Yeah, no,
You know what I
100%.
mean?
You know, like the rule of thumb, you know, you always want to buy your mom a house.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're pretty good in fashion and everything, pretty big in that. Did your family, like, or did your parents, like, did you see that from them, or how did you get into like fashion or starting to, or you just trying stuff out?
Well, my mom was a cook. You know, she worked at Lonchera since we got here in '96. And then my dad was just a handyman. But my dad likes to make boots. He makes handmade boots at the house.
Oh, dope. Okay.
You know, he'd be like on Craigslist trying to find sewing machines. Last time we drove like 3 hours to Sholo to buy like a sewing machine that weighed like a ton. You know what I mean? He brought it back, and, you know, just, you know, little stuff like that. But I have an older brother, you know what I mean, that kind of pretty much showed me everything from, you know, Eric Costin, P-Rod to Kobe and Vince Carter, and, you know what I mean, and everything between that.
Yeah. Damn, I'm an only child, so I never knew about that older brother, and like, you know, looking up to them and seeing what they did. So that's dope. Who's your favorite basketball player?
Kobe Bryant.
Kobe Bryant?
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say Jordan.
I mean, that too, but I think I seen Kobe more. You know what I mean? And, you know, just the aura, and, you know, I remember being, you know, 5-6 years old and seeing Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah.
You know, at the All-Star game and stuff like that. Like, I vividly remember that stuff.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, I think I was like 4 or 5, and my cousin got me a Shaq jersey, a Lakers. And then now growing up, I have a picture of me wearing it. God, but I was like, obviously I'm like a, you know, to me, no one knows this, but I'm a Suns, diehard Suns fan. But growing up and watching the Suns play the Lakers all the time, it was always a battle.
Yeah.
So, like, I hated Kobe, but I respected him as a player. I feel like maybe a lot of people feel the same. You know, they at least from Arizona, you know, they see Kobe and then they're like, man, the Lakers, but, you know, they got to respect it.
Yeah, and I think people also have to appreciate the greatness. You know what I mean? Obviously, we're from Arizona, and, you know, we like the Suns and Diamondbacks, but, you know, if you like basketball, you can't deny, you know, the city, you know, the Lakers and stuff like that. But, you know, yeah, it's just, you know, basketball.
Are you a LeBron guy or no?
I am a LeBron guy. People think I'm not because I'm such a Kobe guy.
That's what I was asking.
And I think LeBron first time around with the Cavs was like on his way to, like, you know, no flaws. You know what I mean? But doing that jumping around, I feel like it kind of, you know, hurt him a little bit. But no, I'm a LeBron guy.
Yeah, I feel like he kind of like set his own path though, like, because back then, like, obviously all the players would stay in the same team, but when LeBron did that, then like everyone in the NBA started doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I feel like he has his own path, which now seeing him on the Lakers is pretty crazy. But I mean, him, Luka, you know, they're going crazy. I don't think they're gonna get anywhere, but, you know, it's just cool to see him in LA.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna go back to Cleveland?
I don't know. I be thinking about it the whole time, like this whole year. I'm like, what are they gonna do? I feel like the Lakers are a little bit off of him already. They're like, all right, we're just, you know, thank you for your time.
Yeah.
Gonna play it out. I don't see them re-signing him. And then, you know, Cleveland, I don't know if he wants to go back to, you know, Ohio. You know what I mean? He's been in LA for what, the last 8 years. You know,
got used to the lifestyle in Miami, LA.
You know. But we'll see. I wouldn't close the door on Golden State either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know, all sports talk aside, as far as the store, how long has that been going on? Has it been 10 years or how long?
So October 1st will be 10 years we have been open. We opened our doors in 2016 in downtown Glendale. And then from there we jumped to 17th Street in McDowell. We were there for 2 years, and then we've been on Central and Comeback for the last 7.
Okay. How did the name AZthread come about?
So back in the day, there used to be like a page where you could send an email and they would post your shoes for $1. And it would be solely for sneakers or AZ kicks.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, was it on Instagram?
Yeah, it was on Instagram.
Okay.
It was like, you know, at the time where like BHT was around, like when Heat of Soul first started. And, you know, I was working at Cricket at the time, and I'm like, man, I want to, you know, create a brand where it's like, you know, bringing everybody together, but also like, you know, about what I sell. And at the time, You know, for me, it was like, oh man, I'm from the West Side, but I'm cool with, at the time, the Twitter days, you had, the Tempe people, the PV, the Central people, the Westview, Millennium stuff. And I was cool with everybody, you know what I mean? And for me, it was like, man, how can I like put something out there that's going to bring us together? And, that's kind of where the AZthread came apart, you know what I mean? Which is like, people think it's like threads, like the clothes, you know what I mean? But it's actually like just bringing Arizona together, which is
kind of like a double entendre,
thread
and threading people together. Yeah, it's funny that you bring Twitter up because you're the second guest that has brought Twitter up. Twitter was a big thing back in the day. I don't know about now. It's just a bunch of AI stuff, but yeah, no. Back in the day, it was pretty crazy. What's your favorite thing about owning a store?
Man, it's I have a lot. One of them is I unlimited shoes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Somebody like me growing up and watching, Kobe and, everybody jumping out the sky and, wearing the coolest shoes and stuff like that. And now, like, I get to sit. And even when I'm slow at the shop, just sit down and just look at the wall and just be like, damn, look at that. Look at the 3s, look at the 4s, look at the 11s. You know what I mean? And just be like, damn, that's tight. You know what I mean?
How does it feel like when a shoe comes in that you really want, but it's not your size? You're like, damn.
Back in the day, if I was younger, I used to wear like 9 through 11.
Okay.
We used to figure out, and back then they ran a little bigger. You know what I mean? So like a 9 you'd be able to get away with. Nowadays, I'm straight 10.5, and then if it's like Nike, it's 11. I do a really good job of not keeping stuff that comes in. So if it's not my size, you know what I mean? Just put it on the wall.
What shoe size sells the most, or is it like 9.5, 10?
It used to be 9.5. I think right now we've been selling a lot of 10.5 and 12.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then you have like the half sizes, which is like 11.5 and 12.5, just because there's a lot less of those. You know what I mean? But right now, 12 and 10.5 for sure.
It's funny because I'm a 9.5, and every time I get on sneakers app, they're always gone, and I'm like, damn, it's annoying. It's an annoying size.
I don't even try on sneakers no more, man.
There's
I'm like,
too many bots.
Yeah, and I think I also don't think they sell all their stock on there. I think they try to make it seem like they sell out to build demand for them. You know what I mean? But that's that's just another story.
Yeah, I mean, so I know you've done the Heat of Soul event, and how are you are you partnered with them, or how are you related to that?
So I met Tesh. He used to work at Sierra Leone as an athletic trainer, and we had a substitute and he filled in.
Yeah.
And he came into school wearing the DMP 11s, which is the Concord with the gold Jumpman. And he had a rugby polo on. And I'm like, what? Hey, man, I like your shoes, right? And at the time, I think I was wearing True Blue 3s. And he was like, oh, I like yours too. And then, just slowly, like, he seen me in the gym getting niced up and see me with Raging Bulls, Space Jams. And we kind of built a relationship like that. And he was only there for, I believe, 1 year. And then he ended up going to Bourgade. And then right before I graduated, he had started Heat of Soul. And it was like the biggest thing because it was an Arizona shoe event. And, at the time, people were buying boots just to show off their collections. Kobe's, SB's, LeBron's, KD's, Jordan's. Everything, Jeremy Scott's. And, it was nostalgic for me. Fast forward, I want to say 12 years later, Tesh approached me if I wanted to be a part of it. Just because, it's what I do now.
Yeah.
And, of course, it was a no-brainer. I didn't even think about it. I said, yeah, man, I'll do it for the city. You know what I mean? It's especially, because the culture is kind of dying down. You know what I mean? The shoes aren't as popular as they used to be. Vintage is coming and kind of taking over.
Yeah.
And, I do both. So I was like, I just jumped on the team. And, it's me, Jeremy, and Tesh at the moment.
How long has that been going for?
Heat of Soul has been around since 2012.
2012, okay. I remember back then, I think it was like, was it the Dunk Exchange?
Yeah, Dunk Exchange.
That was going crazy. Yeah, I remember that growing up as a kid, but then I remember when Heat of Soul came out, it felt special because it was like something from the city, like it wasn't someone from LA come in or anything like that. It was like someone from Arizona actually doing something. But yeah, no, that's dope. I know you resell clothes, but do you get a lot of people coming in dropping off like vintage stuff? or is it mainly like you go out and source the pieces, or how does that work?
So I want to say for like the first 6 years, we were out there sourcing stuff, thrifting, going to the bins, going to shows, going to sneaker events, and buying multiple pairs at once. Nowadays, I feel like because we've been around a little bit, people just bring the stuff in.
Yeah.
And and some of the stuff people bring in is stuff from Supreme from 2010, which is it's tight. You know what I mean? And but yeah, people just bring it in, kind of like how like Buffalo Exchange kind of works now. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I mean, the only reason I ask is because I've been seeing a lot of vintage stores like pop up, and I'm always like, I see them on TikTok. I'm always wondering that. I'm like, do they go source it, or like how, like, do people bring it in? But I guess it's probably a mixture of both, right?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like the newer stores, I feel like they're out there doing the dirty work and getting their hands dirty and sourcing and trying to stock up and build a brand and build inventory. So I feel like the newer ones are. You know what I mean? I feel like the older ones are a little bit more established. So people are bringing stuff in. I feel like for my store, when it comes to like retro Jordans, if you're looking for something, I feel like people will be like, oh, AZthread. You know what I mean? If it's something now, then they go to a particular other shop, but you know what I mean? So we find a little niche and stuff like that.
Yeah. Who's the biggest celebrity that's stopped by, or someone that like wowed you? You're like,
oh man, I want to say in a collective group, I think the Phoenix Suns team from the finals run.
Okay.
Like Ayton, Crowder.
Yeah.
A lot of those guys have came in. And I feel like just because the energy was so high, I feel like that's kind of been, another person too, like PJ Tucker, because he's into the sneakers and stuff like that. He had hit us up for like a Washington Redskins sand jacket, and we told him we had one. He came to the shop, and we just gave to him, and I think he wore it to the game when the Redskins came and played the Cardinals that year. But I mean, just stuff like that. Mostly other basketball players.
Did you go to a lot of those playoff games?
Yes.
Because I think I remember seeing you post on your Instagram. Were you wearing like a bomber?
So, I think the first round, who did we play?
It was LA, right?
Okay, yes. So I went to those games, and I used to wear the Lightning American Thunder, the Suns tee, for that one. And then the second round, we played the Nuggets. Me and my brother were wearing game-worn jerseys, like long jerseys from like the 90s. And then I think the semifinals, or
the Clippers, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that was around Father's Day, so I took my dad to those games, and then finals we wore the warm-ups, the sunburst, from '93.
Yeah, I know. I remember seeing that. It was crazy. I went to 2 of the home games, but yeah, it was, man, that was an era. I remember that.
It's the black jerseys, man. The Valley ones, that energy in those jerseys, I don't know, it's a little different.
Yeah, then they got rid of Mikal Bridges. Yeah, it was crazy. I went to New York that following season, and I went to go catch a Brooklyn Nets game, and Mikal Bridges was playing, and I took my Phoenix Suns Bridges jersey, and everyone was like showing love.
Yeah, that's tight.
Yeah. But it was cool seeing him flourish over there,
Yeah. He's over there in New York right now.
Yeah. As far as like, you and the store, I know the store is pretty well known in the city. Do you ever get recognized in public, or like do people come up to you and be like, hey, you're that guy? Or
yeah, all the time, man. I be out and about, you know what I mean? When it comes to me being in the city, you catch me in Glendale, Mesa, everywhere, man. And I'm always trying to support local businesses and try new coffee shops, new sushi spots, new food spots. So yeah, definitely all the time, man, for sure.
How did you get to know the people at 443?
Through Heat of Soul, through Jeremy. You know what I mean? Jeremy has been going there for a little bit, and they're one of our sponsors. So I went to go shoot a video, and it's only been a little less than 2 years, but that family definitely became my family. Whenever they need anything, vice versa. You know what I mean? We're
I know, because when we went to go have lunch there, I was like, damn, like they're showing mad love in here, but the food's, it's amazing in there.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I sit down and ask David and Mike and, you know, ask them questions like, man, how do you guys like, you know, if you guys are with each other all the, you know, every day, all day, how do you guys like not get on each other's nerves or bigger and stuff like that? And they're like, well, man, because we've been doing it for a long time and you just learn and pick up new stuff and, you know what I mean, just continue to get better. Kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah. What was that coffee that we had there? Was it
Vietnamese.
Okay. Yeah, that's fire.
Yeah.
I was like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know they do Vietnamese, Thai teas, smoothies and stuff like that.
Yeah. How did that hat club thing come about?
Man, it was awesome. They did a hat, and it was pink and gray for the walls inside, pink because of the restaurant, and then they had a San Diego's patch on the side.
Yeah.
1992, when the restaurant first opened, and they're from San Diego.
Okay.
And then they had the Vietnamese MLB color logo.
Oh, yeah, right here, right?
Yeah, so it was red and gold. And I tell them all the time, like, you know, even if like another hat store would make the same hat, they, you know, to go get it approved with the San Diego patch and the red and yellow, it wouldn't go through. You know what I mean? So those hats are like 1-on-1s. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Now, I know that you kind of did a little bit of modeling for it, right? Where you were involved in that process.
a little bit of the campaign.
Did they tell you, hey, we want you, or how did that go about?
Just because we were doing the Heat of Soul stuff at the time, it kind of just transitioned into it. Yeah. And David kind of told Tesh, like, hey, man, I want you guys to hop out with this. And, you know, we were there shooting for like 5-6 hours, man. Cameras everywhere. All right, we're doing this video. All right, walk like this. So, you know, might have been like
kind of like here, right?
Yeah, definitely. And then we're on 43rd and Thomas, so like, you know, the streets are busy, so it looks like
everyone's honking,
like a movie's being shot. You know what I mean? But nah, it was tight, man.
And obviously I knew that they had an event there. I wasn't able to go because I went to Yuma. We had to open up in Yuma. But I saw everyone's Instagram. I'm like, man, I wish I was there.
It was tight, man. Everybody from the city was there.
Yeah, it looked dope. Did they had something outside, right? Was it lowriders or what?
They had a rock climbing.
Oh yeah. That's what it is.
They had food vendors. We popped out for the first time in 10 years, which is kind of like, you know, crazy, but. It was a good turnout, man. I want to say maybe over like 400 people were there. You know what I mean, the hats sold out, the t-shirts sold out. And I think there was somebody in there doing live printing of like, you know, you could bring shirts in and they put the 43 on there and stuff like that. No, it was tight.
For your place, you know, 10 years coming up, are you wanting to do something like that or?
Yeah, I've brainstormed some ideas. We recently just replaced the acrylic signs up top. You know what I mean? And, you know, I messaged my detail people, hey, man, do you guys do power wash? You know, I want to do, like, some professional videos. Yeah. So stuff like that. I know we have a little bit of time, but, you know, it's going to come by fast. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I mean, I feel like we can definitely get in the room and brainstorm some ideas. But, you know, if you need help, let us know. We're more than happy to lend a hand, especially with something like that. I mean, 10 years is pretty big. Yeah.
Like, I couldn't keep a job for 10 years back in the day.
And now you're running your own business.
Nah, I won't do anything else. You know what I mean? But, no, I've talked to Sam briefly about, you know, stuff like that and, you know, getting some shirts made and, you know, just a little bit here and there and stuff like that.
You know, I know you've been running a lot lately. Do you ever plan on doing something like running with your store, like as far as like starting a run from your place downtown and then running back, or like throwing like a little 5K or something like that? I know you're big into with the run club Animo, but
so it's funny you say that. So Animo's run club, we run out on Central and come back.
Okay. So I thought you guys ran the other way towards the north. So sometimes it depends. You know what I mean? During like when it was raining, you know, you can't run on dirt, so we're running through the canal. I don't know if I've gotten there yet. I know a lot of friends that see me run that, you know, want to get active or telling me like, man, you should do your own and this and that. You know, right now I'm, you know, just running with them and, you know, just trying to keep up, to be honest with you. People think I'm like this professional runner, just an average runner. You know what I mean?
people, we ran the marathon in December, and people were asking me like, "Man, bro, you just roll out of bed and go run?" I'm like, no, man, I've been training for 2 years. You know what I mean? But no, I think and people and other friends have asked me like, "Oh, are you gonna stop running?" And I'm like, I'm still running. I'm just not in training season, so it's more,
just for like fun or
just to stay,
just
to stay active and stuff like that. But I don't know. We'll see.
How was that marathon for you? Did that really test you or?
It's more mental than physical.
Yeah.
Because the physical stuff, you feel like you can get through it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And I kept telling myself, my marathon doesn't start till after mile 20.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing good. I was at like a 9-minute pace. Mile 22 came, and you literally feel your muscles, moving like kind of like a banjo.
Mm-hmm.
And every step you want to be efficient. You don't want to step on a crack, or you want to look at pavement which is more level.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So
really.
it's like, you know what I mean. And there's stations at like every 2 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, man, I got to stay busy. I mean, my AirPods died at mile 18, so I'm like, all right, it's just me against me.
I didn't even think of that. That's crazy.
And I ran it in 4.5. But definitely, we started in Deer Valley, and then we ended up at Papago Park.
Mm-hmm.
And the last 2 miles was running up on McDowell on 50th Street.
Oh my God, yeah.
Right there, I caught a cramp, and I walked for about a mile, and somebody that I seen walking was like, "Nah, man, come on." And then when he was running and he seen me walking, he was like, "Nah, come on." So I ended up, finishing the last, I think, like 2.5 miles running.
Yeah. I know when you put that video, I was like, man, that's crazy, because I don't think I would ever do one, because I'm not a runner like that. But yeah, that's amazing that you couldn't endure that much.
And and the competitive kicked in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We go back to, the basketball days and stuff like that. So I a little bit of competitive in me kicked in, and I'm like, man, I got to finish in front of these, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For the people I knew that were running in and stuff.
Did you see anyone do people back out of it? They're like, I can't go anymore. Or
So, because we started in Deer Valley, and we were coming down the canal, down through Cousin Coasters, and then on Billmore on 24th Street we're running down until and then we make a left on Camelback. And by Billmore, you start seeing people fall and yell, and it's like a war zone, man. Like, no lie.
You're all traumatized.
I'm like,
you're like,
whoa.
What's going
no, like
on?
You don't even want to look, because like, you know what I mean. It feels like you jinx yourself. But I always explain it to people, like when you're playing those Call of Duty games, and you get hit and
like it kind of gets blurry.
It turns red.
Oh, okay.
That's like honestly like what I remember it being like.
Damn.
But yeah, you see people falling, ambulances, people like just dropping.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And you just stay steady, efficient. You know what I mean? Just try to finish.
Did you take any of those gels or anything like that, or what?
I did. So usually when I do my training, I'm like raw dogging it.
Yeah,
so it's like, I might have went out the night before, or didn't sleep well, or you know what I mean. Those days I do try to sleep like 2-3 days in advance. Try to hydrate really good.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the gels, I'm not really a gel guy, because they taste straight like jelly.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're running, it's like,
yeah,
you know what I mean. But no, I did take some, and every 2 miles there's stations. So whatever there was, I was just grabbing it and putting it in my mouth. Like whether it was M&Ms, oranges, apples, water, Gatorade. You know what I mean. Just to, all right, I don't want my body to start breaking down, due to nutrition or what.
Yeah. Does that obviously running raw and no gels or anything like that, does that boost up like your respect in the run club? Because I have a buddy, his name is John, and I think he also runs with Animo. He's always like, nah, I don't need anything.
It's just like, it's because just how I grew up, you know what I mean? Even like, I always refer to basketball, because I like, that's kind of what made me this way. But even conditioning back then, like, it was nothing. Even when it came to shoes, it was like whatever we have on, that's what I'm gonna play with.
Mm-hmm.
I was running Air Max once when I first started.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh man, you gotta get some running shoes. You gotta get some gels." And now I run with like running shorts and a dry fit shirt and running shoes, but very, very minimal and stuff like that.
As far as any run events coming up, or like, are you planning to do another marathon or?
So I know the Pat Tillman. I know they have like the 4.2 miles coming up. I think that's in Tempe or Mesa coming up soon. So I usually don't know unless it's in the group chat, and then I signed up. But I missed the LA one, the marathon. I wish I would have done that one. But
yeah, I think we're gonna do the Pat Tillman one. So if you want, I'll put your name down.
Yeah. Let me know. I'm always down to run.
Yeah, I'll tell them. It's funny because I think we did the Diplo run. I remember when we started, you just kept going, and I'm like, damn.
Man, you know what's crazy is I be trying to catch up to Andy.
Yeah.
So what was the first one we did? The Rhine House.
Yeah.
So that one I had done I ran with Animo in the morning, and I came straight over there. So we ran 13 miles, and then I came over here and ran it.
I remember you telling me.
And then the Diplo one, I'm like, all right, I'm good. You know what I mean? He still beat me. I think about 10 seconds, 12 seconds. You know what I mean? But nah, and he's good.
Yeah.
And he's sharp.
Yeah.
He was like, I feel like he's
big unit, but he's got quick feet.
Huh?
Yeah,
he's cutting, huh?
Yeah, he's cutting.
Every time I see him, he looks a little different, but he's good.
He's a beast. Actually, you and him, they're motivating me to actually start running. Which I don't run too much, but it's cool just to throw on the fit and then get out there. Which I'm sure I'm gonna get roasted, but you gotta throw on the fit. You gotta look good.
You do. I think the shorter runs, I feel like people come out dressed out. You know what I mean? The Diplo one, I seen people wearing Supreme Fox, the Supreme goggles. I'm like, all right. I see how you guys are coming.
Yeah, no, it's funny. Shout out to Marky. Marky got us some holos, and I was like, ooh, I put the fit down before the day before and everything. Yeah,
he's good too.
Yeah,
Marky's good.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we got a group of good runners. But yeah, I mean, especially you, bro. Like I said, I always see, you in running with Animo, and I'm like, man, Edgar's killing it over there.
And it's crazy because Animo's it's all the people we know. You know what I mean? I know you went to school with some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are, underwriters, real estate agents. Luis, he does photography, but, everybody's kind of tapped into, the sneakers and vintage stuff. You know what I mean? So it's cool to see everybody.
Yeah, shout out to my boy, Sam Levy over there. That's my guy. As far as, the community and everything, do you want to do something with your store and the community, maybe do a shoe drive for, Christmas or something? Is there anything that you want to do maybe that we can potentially help you out with?
Yeah, so a lot of people don't know. During holiday season, I tend to give back to my elementary and middle school.
Okay.
I don't really post anything because it's not as big, you know what I mean, like a toy drive or anything like that. But I do, go to the administration and, pick out 15, 16, 17 people that, you see working hard and kind of need some help. But, to make it bigger, I definitely would want to do something in the future. At the shop currently, is only 4 of us working, and all of them are my brothers. Mm-hmm. So, come holiday season, it's kind of like our busiest time, but I wouldn't be opposed to take some time and to give back to the community that kind of pretty much raised me, if not held me down, for this long.
Yeah, no, the reason I ask is because I'm always thinking of things to do with everybody that we work with, and I'm always in my mind. I think we had a shoe drive here one time, and it was funny because Ernie was he put the box out, and I went and I gave up 10 shoes. And jokingly, Ernie's like, oh, yeah, I still wear them to this day because I threw some brand new ones in there. But no, we actually donated them, so don't come at us. But no, yeah, I was thinking of that earlier. I was like, maybe we should do something as far as maybe Christmas or November, whatever it is, but something where we can give back to the community.
Yeah, I've been asking you guys if you guys ever need help. I'm always down to volunteer as well, too.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to tell Rich that. As far as how is it working with your brothers? I know you brought them up. Is it?
It's good, man. My little brother is my best friend. I see him every day. I talk to him every day. That's somebody that's does work just like me and stuff like that. And then my older brother, more laid back, more chill. He sees everything from from a little bit older standpoint, but you know, he's still in there chopping it up. And you know, just the age gap, you know, they bring a different clientele. My older brother's coaching the Phenoms, which is a very good club team.
Yeah.
And you know, he brings parents in, kids in, and then my little brother, you know, because he's a little younger than me, he'll bring in, you know, his era and stuff like that. So it's you know, it's cool, man. It's, you know, we just have fun kicking it and reminisce of like the days before we had bills and growing up. And you know, usually when I work with them, we all eat together and stuff like that. You know, hey, what you want to eat today? You know. Sometimes I have to get on them because they be like chicken wings, and I'd be like, bro, chicken wings, come on, man, we can get that after work. You know what I mean? But no, it's a blast, man.
Yeah, it's funny. I have a funny story. I texted you, and I was like, hey, can I stop by the store and drop off a frame? And I was getting out the car, and the frame falls out, and the grass breaks right in front of your brother. I don't know which brother it was. And I'm like, damn. And he's like, are you okay? Because he thought that I'd probably cut myself. And then I'm like, yeah, man, I'm good. I was like, you know what? I'm going to come back. I got in the car, and I'm like, damn. I told Ernie, I'm like, man, I'm embarrassed, dog. I was like stumbling in. I was like, they probably got me on footage, bro. Because I was like, yeah, that reminds me, I need to go drop one off.
Yeah, I'm going to look for that footage.
I honestly, well, I guess.
I'm going to look on the messages.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, if you can look that far back. But no, yeah, it was comedy. I'm like, I know he's going to tell his brother. I'm going to be, no, yeah. I felt stupid.
It's funny because obviously I have a lot of people I know or friends and stuff like that. And my little brother, you know, he knows a lot of people, but I feel like I know a little bit more. So when people come in, they be like, no, I know Edgar. Like, I know Edgar. And he'd be like,
yeah, like, okay, yeah.
You know, and then, you know, they be hitting me up like, man, your brother don't mess with me or what? Like, I've been telling him I'm your homie. And I'm like, my bad, bro. He's just doing his job. You know what I mean? But I get that quite often.
Everybody gets treated the same around here.
Yeah. I've seen those TikToks where, like, people are paying and, like, the person that runs the business is hiding and the payment goes through and it's like, oh, man, you should have told me. I would have got you. And then it's, like, decline. And it's like, oh, man. You know what I mean?
Bro, I was in the bag. No, yeah. It's funny because I've shopped there a couple of times, but I swear I never seen you. In my mind, I'm like, when do you go in?
I go in when my kids go home. Okay. You know what I mean? So when I have my kids, you know, most of the time I'm with them. Yeah, but when they go home, you know, that's when I work. It'd probably be like 1 week I work like 5 days, and then the following week I work like 2 days. You know what I mean?
Do you actually work though, or?
Yeah, no, for sure. Even when I'm at home, I'm, you know, online looking for stuff. You know what I mean? I nonstop shop for a living. My friends be like, man, you're always like, you know, going to stores and, you know what I mean? I'm like, man, I just got to stay on top of, you know, what's in and what people are wearing and stuff like that. But no, I definitely work. I feel like my kids be like, damn, my dad's on his phone, you know, the whole time. Yeah. Not knowing like, you know, oh, what's coming out, or, you know, what did this person wear, or, you know, what size are people asking me, or, you know what I mean? So no, I work a lot, you know what I mean? But at the physical location, you know what I mean? It's like 50% of the time.
Yeah. Have you ever done like a bulk buy where you just buy a bunch of sneakers in one time, or?
Yeah, so when the sneaker game was popping, I feel like people had big inventory, big collections. So we were doing those maybe you know, every other day. You know what I mean? It'd be 100 pairs, 50 pairs. Nowadays, just because people aren't buying, you know, when sneakers come out, aren't buying everything and aren't holding, you know, to stuff how it used to be. You know, it'd be rarely where people come in and it's like, oh, I got 20 pairs. Late though, some guy from Mesa with size 13 has been like, hey man, I'm dumping a bunch of shoes. So occasionally he'll bring 15, 20, 25 pairs, and, you know, they're size 13, which is, you know, a hard size to come by. So, you know what I mean? Not as often, but yeah, we actually like doing that instead of like pair for pair.
Okay. It makes it easier, or just? It
makes it easier, and then it makes
easier
it easier
to
negotiate and easier to post. You know what I mean? You can't post, you know, one shoe after one shoe, you know, compared to posting, you know, 20 pairs
all in one time. Okay, got it. It's funny because I have a couple shoes, and I'm like, damn. I was like, I don't wear them, but I'm like, should I bring them in? But I'm like, nah, Edgar's gonna think I'm broke. I was like, nah, I'm good.
Nah,
I'm like,
not even.
no, but
Sometimes you get to. Oh, sorry to cut you off. Sometimes
No.
you get to a point where it's just clutter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at my house, I'm a hoarder, so I like to keep, stuff that, even my kids' drawings. My oldest son, he brings me paint, stuff he does at school. But then I have a box, and and I'll just be looking at it like, damn, I don't know if I'm gonna keep everything. You know what I mean? But it just clutters up, clutter ups. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm saying it. It just
it clutters up.
and it gets to a point where it kind of gives you a headache. So I can understand why people want to
Yeah. It's funny because, sometimes I'll buy shoes and then I'll wear them like a couple times and then I'll give them away. Or like my jerseys and my hats. Like I give Gabe a bunch of stuff. But because in my mind, I'm like, I don't even wear it anymore, but.
Or you took a picture in it, or what I mean?
Yeah. And especially now, like being the brand ambassador for the company, a lot of people give me stuff. And then all my old stuff, like I don't wear it because I'm wearing a bunch of like the homies gear.
Yeah.
And I'm like, damn, you know what? You can have this, But yeah, no, I can see where the clutter's coming from. Now, luckily, I have a bigger closet, but yeah, I have a bunch more hats now. That's what I have. I have a bunch of hats. I probably have like 80 now, or 100.
Yeah. No, I don't get in trouble, but they be telling me like, hey man, like you gotta get rid of some of this stuff.
Yeah.
And like a lot of the stuff I have, a lot of people have gifted me, so it's not like I can just go sell it, or what I mean. I be thinking like, man, this person took the time and not only to give it to me, but to design it, to go pick it up and pay for it, and you know what I mean. And for the most part, I try my best to wear all of it. You know what I mean. Even like at the shop, I'm wearing clubs and brands, and you know what I mean, hat pages, and stuff that people giving me, or stuff that I buy and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And like all the homies, when they bring out a brand, I always try to buy at least one thing. You know what I mean?
To show love and everything. Yeah, no, I mean it goes a long way when you support somebody and then you start rocking their stuff because they're like, oh, this is my boy stuff,
Yeah.
So no, yeah, 100%. If you were to ever have a billboard, where would you want a billboard at?
67th and I-10.
67th
westbound.
Westbound?
Yeah, or 75th. From 67th to 75th.
Why there?
Because I grew up on 67th in McDowell, and I grew up going to Desert Sky Mall and skating and playing basketball at Desert West, and I think I don't know. For me, I think it's the best area. I feel like it's the west side, but you get on the freeway and you drive downtown, and without traffic, it usually takes like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's still west side.
Yeah. What would you put on the billboard? Would it be you or the logo?
I would put the little AZthread, Mr. AZthread logo, and then just put AZthread buy, sell, and trade.
Damn.
Central coming back.
Yeah.
Pretty hard.
That'd be tough. I'll see if I can pull those strings. I've been making a lot of promises, but I think I can get it done. Now, as far as you as a person, I have a question. So, if everything that you had today you lost tomorrow, what would make you successful again?
I think the knowledge I picked up over the last 10 years, when we used to be super busy, I used to stress a lot, and knowing that and knowing now, I would have definitely told myself, hey man, it's gonna work out. You know what I mean? 10 years later, you're gonna be good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, just being calm and just knowing, like, if you don't stop and you give it your all, like, you know what I mean, it's gonna work out. You know what I mean? And kind of like what Nip said, like, nothing really worked out for me. I just didn't stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just knowing that to keep going, and, loving one another and helping each other out, and just being sincere and genuine with people, you know what I mean, goes a long way. And the universe, does pay you back. Whatever you put out, it's definitely going to come back. And, just a slow and steady grind, I think, definitely.
There's not really like a blueprint to it, you're learning as you go. Yeah, no. It's funny because I asked Mr. Rafi that question, and he gave me a good answer. I'll save that story for another time. But speaking of Mr. Rafi, I wanted to get you a gift. something over here. So this is a gift from us, the team. But
You want me to open it?
yeah, open it live. Something that, it's going to keep you grinding.
Oh yeah, this is tight.
I know you're not you raw dog when you're running, but I've been noticing that every time you go running, you never have anything on. And I'm like, maybe this will be a nice gesture to track something.
No, it's funny because animals they're all garment. You know what I mean? And then some of the events be garment. Like we did a half marathon in Tucson, garment do it. Oh, this is tight, man. I appreciate you guys, man. I did my research. Come on now. I definitely use this for sure.
Yeah, no. So, like I said, I was doing some research, and I'm like, man, I never seen him wear anything. Let me hook him up.
Tight, man. Appreciate you. Hell yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, bro. And like I said, I admire you so much, and you're a grinder. I hope that God blesses you and success keeps coming your way, bro.
No, appreciate you, man. Thank you guys. Keep working hard. You know what I mean? You guys, the amount of work you guys are putting in, man, is showing, you know what I mean, all over the city. You know what I mean? You guys are adding people that I genuinely mess with, and, I like to see the family to continue to grow and stuff like that.
Well, 100%. I appreciate that.
Guys.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're out. Like, subscribe, share, do whatever you guys do. Click on the link down below. If this video gets, 10,000 likes, we're getting them a billboard. Or 15,000, what are we going to do, Kyle?
You already said that.
Okay, 10,000. If this video gets 10,000 likes, we'll get them a billboard, all right? All right.
We out.
Welcome to the Branding Rafi Podcast.